Please, let's start.
So this is what I do.
Okay, awesome. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon in Nigerian time, everyone. Welcome to
This
another
is
episode of
responsibility.
Beyond. Sir Steve, can you please mute your microphone?
I've already made.
Welcome to. No, okay, thank you. Welcome to another episode of Beyond Coding. Beyond Coding has been running for the past few weeks, and we've been educating and informating people about Microsoft technologies and also teaching them about things aside from coding or programming. So we've been teaching about things like preparing for interviews, to web hacking literacy, to going into research, and a lot of topics like that. And this week, we are going to be doing something similar to that, whereby we have two speakers. One will be talking on Microsoft technology, and the other will be charging us on something very, very awesome. So our first speaker for today is Olumide Ogudare. Olumide Ogudare is a Microsoft student partner, a gold Microsoft student partner. That's like the caps of student partners, and is going to be talking to us today. So, Olumide, are you there?
Um, Hi, Damilola, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Also, I just wanted to check if you are still here. So, Olumide will be talking to us on building chatbots using Azure. So, over to you, boss.
All right, thank you, Damilola. Just one final confirmation. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Yes. All right, thank you very much. So, hi, everyone. It's great to be part of this session today. I'll try to be as brief as possible, as I know I don't have enough time. Yeah, today I'll be talking about building bots using Azure. As you can see, the Azure bot service. So yeah, Olumide Ogundare. I'm a Microsoft student partner, as they have said. I'm also a Microsoft certified trainer and Azure AI engineer. I love building AI solutions, working with AI to solve local problems. And you can find my LinkedIn and Twitter link there. So I would like to quickly jump into what we are going to be doing today. So basically today we'll be getting started with the bot framework and yeah, just building a simple project. Yeah. So what is a bot? I think it is important I explain what a bot is, the components of a bot, what you need to build a bot before we start writing code or something. I think that is really important so that when we start diving into building the bots, you will understand the various components and what consists a bot. So basically, in our day-to-day activities, we do a lot of tasks, and some of those tasks are repetitive. Some of those tasks take a while. Some of those tasks take humans to be on hands-on on something for hours. So bots are actually used to automate those kind of tasks where you instead of you having a human doing them, you can just have a bot helping you to do all those things. But really, for you to be able to use bots to build stuff, actually to do complex tasks, you need the bot to be intelligent. And yeah, one of those things I'll be learning today. So that's pretty much what you use a bot to do to perform basic tasks. So yeah, we learn technology, we use technology to do a lot of things that we do, but it is important that we understand technology and even use it to our advantage. Let it to learn about us, um, learn how we answer questions, coordinate things, observe things, listen to people, basic human characteristics. We should allow a bot to learn all those things from us so that we can have a bot as a personal assistant, really. Yeah, over the years, there've been a lot of switch into conversational AI. A lot of people are now more comfortable chatting than going to a website. A lot of people are more comfortable having to go somewhere to resolve an issue where you can just use a normal chat to do that. And that's why it is important that we also switch with this current trend happening, um, current switch into conversations. So the bot framework actually brings to us the whole conversation as a platform where you can come and converse with people, converse with the bot, and from there you can resolve any of your issues. So what are the components of a bot? For you to be able to build a bot, there are various components that the bot has, and you need to understand before you can build a bot. And first off is the dialogue. As you can see from the screen, the dialogue here, you can see the picture showing chats, right? It's just the dialogue is just the UI you see, the interface between the bot and the user. And that's basically what dialogue is. Dialogue is when it asks you a question and you reply, all those things you see as the dialogue interacts with the user. As the bot interacts with the user, that's dialogue. Then the intent is basically the bot's way of understanding what you are saying. So first off, when you want to do something like I would like to book a flight, it's just a statement, right? And by default, in a garbage in, garbage out system, your bot will not be able to understand that. But you need to add that intelligence into the bot. And intelligence works by you getting the intent from what the person is saying. So in the case of I would like to book a flight, the intent is book flights. And you can actually use some third-party services like Louis to understand what the person is talking about. So that intelligence is important in a bot. And we'll be talking about how you can add intelligence to a bot later on. There is the entity. The entity is just the naming words in a conversation, and of course there are keywords, right? So, for example, what's the weather like in France? The major things that we need to reply this person is first the country, which is France, and secondly the weather. So once I get those two, I'll just check for the weather in France and respond. And those two are the major entities here. And it is important to note those entities because when you understand what the person is saying and get the intent, you also need to get the entities that we use to make that request or perform that task. So yeah, dialogues. I already showed you guys about dialogues, which is just basically UI. So this is just like a walkthrough of how a dialogue looks like. This is a basic banking app. Here you see the major dialogue asking you if you want to make payments or you want to check balance. When I say make payment, it spins up the make payment dialog. So there's a menu that controls what happens when you click make payment. There's another one that controls what happens when you click check balance. And right now you can see by my right here, it spins up the main dialog. Then spins up the make payment dialog, which will now ask you the things you need to be able to make payment. Account number and the amount, and that does that for you straight up. You can also see there's a second dialog which is check balance, and that will ask you all you need to check your balance. If it's savings or current, then after asking you all this information, it does what it needs to do to you. So all these things you see inside the screen are dialogues, basically. I think that's clear enough. So as I said earlier, for a major garbage in, garbage out system, it is very difficult to understand what people are saying. And really, human beings can be very complex, and they can be funny with the way they relate their issues to you. People can be really funny, right? So you need all these tons of services, all these tons of cognitive services to be able to add that intelligence and understand people better. There's computer vision, face, emotions, video, content moderator, speech, and a whole lot more of other services that you have on Azure that you can integrate with your bots, and all this can work with your bots. Yeah, this is just a graph of various cognitive services, APIs that you can integrate with your bots. So what is LUIS? LUIS is Language Understanding Intelligence System. And the importance of language understanding is what actually drives the conversation in the bot framework. It is important that you understand the language in which your user is using to communicate to you. And language goes beyond just if it's English or if it's French, whatever. It it goes beyond all that. It is even more of how the person communicates. What are the patterns he uses to communicate? And you can't just easily integrate that into your bot. So Microsoft has created a service for you that you can use, which is Language Understanding Intelligence Service, LUIS. And what it does is it basically helps you detect intents and extract entities. And I already talked about what an intent is and what an entity is. So, for example, in the third example here, it says, what is Erica's phone number? In this case, the intent here is check phone number, right? Just go and check the person's phone number. And the entity here is, I need to know whose phone number I want to check. And that's why you see underlined here, Erica. And Erica here is the entity, which is the name of the person you want to check his phone number. And this is just a basic example of how you can actually get intents and entities from the LUIS. So there's Q&A Maker, and this is also one of those services they use to make your bots really powerful. So you notice that a lot of people keep asking frequently asked questions, same questions every time. Almost everyone has the same question in their mind, especially when it comes to payments, and people will start asking you, how do I retrieve my payments? How do I know the status of my payments? Which is order. People want to track their order. You can put all those things in an FAQ document where you map questions to answers. Then Q&A Maker allows you to generate a bot from that, and when people ask questions that match any of the questions you stated, it will give answers to that. And yeah, bots can interact with more than just text. You can use cards. This is the receipt card. You can use tons of other UI you have, amazing UI you have, so that you can integrate with your bots. So how do you build a bot? So there is a bot builder SDK that Microsoft offers for bot framework, and it has options for Node.js developers, Python developers, and .NET developers. For the purpose of the demo we'll be doing today, to be with Node.js. Then there is a development portal where you need to register your bots for you to deploy to Azure. And there are tons of cognitive services you can actually integrate with your bot. For you to build your bot locally, you need a bot framework emulator to test it. And this is just an example of the SDK for Python. Yeah, so you can use Python. This is just how it looks like. There are lots of channels you can integrate with, and yeah, those are the channels. So yeah, I'm going to quickly switch to, sorry, I'll need to stop sharing this. Okay, now I'm going to share my desktop. Alright. So for you to build a bot, there's a bot framework samples that is available, but I just created this project, and you guys should probably check it out, though it's still in beta. I just started it really. But what this does is it creates that starter template for you. Your idea is to make it like a create React app for bot framework. But what this does is to make your development work easier, especially for people coming from user interface designs like React, Angular, Node.js, TypeScript guys. So that's I had to build this, and this is what I'll be using for the demo. So I just cloned this into my VS Code, and I already ran npm install. Sorry, I have a lot opened. So here is the project. So I'm going to briefly explain how it works. So let me just clear this terminal. But this is the project, and as I said earlier, for you to test your bot locally, you need the bot framework emulator. So you need to download that. right here I have the bot framework emulator. So I'm going to close this. So this is how it looks like when you install it. So quick explanation. I'm using TypeScript here, so I have to run the compiler before I can start the server. So little bit of config of how this file works. There is my server.js that exports everything in my dist folder. So by default, what I do is to create the TypeScript build. So as I create the TypeScript build, it generates my dist folder. So my dist folder is what converts my TypeScript to my JavaScript. So you can see all JS files there by default. So after my build is successful, then I can start the server. Node server. And the server will be up and running. So the files I'm working with is in my lib folder, where I have all the files I'm using here. So basically what is happening here, you can see where I'm importing from. This is the bot builder SDK itself and bot builder-AI. This is what helps you connect to Louis and QA Maker. And there is Restify that creates the server. And I'm using environment variables, so I have .env. Then there is bot builder dialogues for just library that gives you all the things you need to create the dialogue. But you don't need to worry about all these things. These things are from the template, the starter template I created. So I just wanted to show you what exactly is going on. So yeah, I just created an instance of my bot. So yeah, I'm going to switch into the bot. So this is my bot. It has properties for Q&A maker, Louis, dialogue, and the conversation state. So the conversation state is one that handles the state of the conversation, where you are currently, and all. So I also have so I had to comment this out because you need the keys from Q&A maker and Louis for you to be able to connect to both of them. So I'm just going to. This is just a basic I'll say echo bot, but here what is happening is, so this is what happens when I load my bot. I'm saying when there is a message, you can do what is inside here. When there is no message, you can do what is inside here. For now, I don't want you to type message before I print out something. So I'm just beginning the dialogue for welcome. So I have a folder where I put all my dialogues, and you can see templates here, and this makes life easy. So inside templates, you see templates for card and templates for prompt. For this demo, I just called one of the dialogues in prompt, which is this. So what you will be seeing is, what would you like to know? Cake, cupcake, donuts. How would you like to know? Did I do that? Okay, so yeah, that's what you'll be seeing. Then you'll be seeing options. These are the options you'll be seeing. Then wherever happens, wherever you click, when you click the first one, it shows hello. Click the second one, it types second option. Click the third one, it types third option. Those basic stuff. So when I connect this to my bot framework, I already have it set up here. So here is EchoBot, and it's asking me what would you like to know. I can say cake. So when I say cake, it says hello, right? Yeah, and you can continue the conversations from there. You can begin another dialogue from here and create it. But what I will also want to show you are the various cards. You can. So I told you can do more of conversations, and conversations are not just text. You can use various other UIs for conversations. So I have a dialogue here called cards. So I'm going to, by default, tell my bot to begin that dialogue called. Okay, I know what I'm going to give. So yeah, instead of just telling me hello, I'm going to tell it to begin my dialogue called cards. It begins dialogue called card. Again, I'm going to restart my TypeScript server and build it. After then, Then I'm going to stop this and start it again. I hope it types script build. Okay, so I'm going to start this again. So once it's listening, basically the way the port framework works is most of the response it gives, basically the response it gives is via API calls. So you see the async await of JavaScript happening here, where you make the call, and it awaits your response and handles the response, and all the conversations are via API calls. That's why when you check by the right of the emulator, you see the various calls: post request 200, post request 200. When I click it, I can see activities of what is going on, the root ID, and so many other things. So for this, I expect when I click cake, it should show me my cat dialog, right? So this is just a from my bot framework starter kit.
Olumide, I think your network is breaking. I don't know if you can hear me, but I think your network is breaking sort of, and we can't see your screen again too. I think you probably are having network issue or something. So I will try to message him on WhatsApp now and see what's happening. So please just hold
Hello,
on a bit.
hello,
Okay.
hello.
Okay. All right.
Can you
Hello.
hear me
We can
now?
hear you now. Yeah, we can.
Okay. I'm sorry. I guess it was my network. So I can proceed, right?
Yes, you can.
Hello.
You can proceed,
Yeah, you
please.
can.
Continue,
But
please. Olumi.
maybe you just back it to share some
Okay.
things that you were
Okay.
saying.
So yeah. Okay. Great. So here is the that I'm passing into my carousel of cards that's showing.
We can't see your screen again.
So here's data I'm passing to my carousel of cards that's showing, and from there I can create other cards, right? I can create an animation
Olumide.
card.
Olumide, we can't see your screen.
You can't see my screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess Olumide is no. I guess he's having some internet issue. Olumide, can you hear me? Olumide. Israel, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. I wanted to be sure it's not my internet. So I think let's just give Olumide like some seconds to see if he can sort his internet issue. And Michael, I can see you have a question. Hopefully, at the end of Olumide's session, he would answer your question and shed more light on that.
All right, Mike. It seems you have a question or something. So you said while we wait, you have a question.
Yeah, he wrote his question on the chat, and his question is, can I use another
Fine.
language like C# instead of Python?
Okay. All right. So I think Olumide will get back to you. So I just sent a
Yeah.
message to Olumide now on WhatsApp, and he said Aaron should take over. That he will try to sort out his network issue, and then it will come after Aaron. I hope that's cool.
Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you for that awesome presentation. Hopefully, the network issue can get worked out. And when I'm done with the little bit that I have to share here, you can finish that up. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you very well.
Okay, great. So welcome to everyone here. I'm thrilled to be able to be here and be a speaker at this event. For those who do not know me, my name is Aaron Blum, and I am a community program manager with the Microsoft Student Partner Program, which is soon to become the Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador Program. So if you hear the new name, don't worry, don't get confused or anything. The program is not going away. It's just changing the name, and we're also getting some really nice new stuff with the new program. But for the time being, it is still the Microsoft Student Partner Program. So you will probably hear me refer to it as that. And my role with the Student Partner Program is to help the Europe and also the Middle East and Africa regions and make sure that the students who are in the program are getting the most out of the program that they can. So that's essentially my role in a nutshell. I am here to just make sure that the student partners in my region have all of the help and assistance that they need. But the topic of my talk today is actually not really related so much to the Student Partner Program, but more to some skills and things that can be very helpful for new professionals joining the workforce. So for some of you who are already working, this stuff may seem kind of familiar. For others who are still in school and have not yet entered the professional workforce, these are some ideas maybe that you can take with you to help you be successful when you transition from being a student to being a professional. A little bit about my history. So my first professional position after school was in 1998. And by the year 2000, I was starting to be responsible for other people's performance, meaning I was a supervisor. And then throughout my career, I have kind of advanced to where I have been responsible for managing the performance of many people. My last role before coming here, I was responsible for about 200 people. And some terms that you may hear me use are report or a direct report. So that kind of refers to someone who is directly under your responsibility, someone whose performance you are directly responsible for. And an indirect report would mean that that person reports to somebody else, perhaps another supervisor. But if you oversee that supervisor, then the person that is kind of 2 levels down is now an indirect report. So if you hear those terms, that's what those kind of mean. And one of the things that I learned pretty early on, I was lucky. I had some really great managers when I was starting out. And one of the things that I learned early on is that a good manager does not just drive performance from their employees. They are not, certainly their role is to make sure their employees are performing their job responsibilities in the way that it needs to be done. But a good manager is also there to make sure that employees have the resources they need to be successful, and that employees are in a environment in which they can grow professionally and prepare themselves for their next role. So if you have ever had a good manager, hopefully they did some of these things. If you have had a bad manager, you probably wished they would do more to help you in your career. So again, just kind of keep those things in mind as I'm discussing some of these kind of skills that you can develop. And what I'd like to do, I'll go ahead and share my screen. And please let me know if you can see this okay. And it may be a little bit hard to see in terms of reading it, so I don't want you to worry if you can't read it, but I just want to make sure that you at least are able to see my screen and what I'm showing.
We can't see it. I can't see it here. I don't know if any other person
Okay.
can see it.
Huh. Let's
You are
okay.
sharing
Let's
your-
give it.
We can't see it.
Let's
Yeah.
give it
Okay, yeah, we
just.
can see it now.
Okay. Okay. If you can see it, and again, don't worry if you can't read all of the text on this. I know it's probably pretty small, and I have a PowerPoint that has larger text. But this is what I developed over a long time, in terms of several years, basically, of being a people manager. And I refer to it as my leadership development checklist. So essentially what I use this for is when I am working with an employee, this is a list that I ask them to first fill out for themselves and tell me where they think they are in each of these areas. I would encourage everybody not to look at it so much as weaknesses or strengths, but more as development opportunities, ranging up to something you are already highly skilled in. It's not a weakness if you are particularly strong in one of these areas just yet, because you always can be. You can always learn more about it and improve. And the thing that I found with these items on this list is that really no matter what your main role is with a company, most of these, if not all of these, will still apply. So if you are a programmer, if you are a project manager, if you are, I could go through all of the different types of roles, but most of these items on here will still apply to you in some way or, in some fashion. So it's something to just keep in mind, and especially, I think if you go in, to your first role, a professional role, and you have your first meeting with your manager, letting them know that you are aware of these kind of business and professional skills would probably impress them, and maybe even help them to be a better manager of you. And then when you become a manager of other people, hopefully this is something that will be helpful to you as well. So if you want this checklist, I'll certainly make this available to everybody after the call. So there are 2 ways we can communicate after this. If you'd like to reach out to me on LinkedIn, by all means, please do so. Send me, a link request, and I will approve that, and then I can share the document with you that way. Also, I'll make it available to the organizers of this meeting, and if you reach out to them, they will then have this document available that they can share with you. Of course, any questions that you have about this, please feel free to ask. And I guess one other thing I will say is this is by no means a comprehensive list. I'm sure there are things that I have not thought of. So that's the beauty of this, is that you can keep adding to it, and we can talk about it, and we can share experiences, can maybe even grow this list. My hope is that this is a good starting point. So with that, I'm going to try to share the actual PowerPoint presentation. So let's see if I'm able to do that. If not, well, if I'm actually already sharing, maybe I'll just move this over here. All right, hang on. Give me just 1 second here. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do this.
Okay.
Normally I can share share a file, but it's not really letting me do that. So I may just have to do it this way, kind of the old-fashioned way. Are you able to see this list? I'll see if I can go full screen. Is that showing up okay for everyone?
No, I can't.
Not yet.
I can't see it. I can't.
Okay. I think just because of the network, it may take a little while for me to have new things show up when I share my screen. So let me just give it 1 more minute. And if not, I will just have to kind of read through these and talk about them a little bit. And again, I can share this presentation with you afterwards and make it available to you. But I don't want to take up too much time waiting. I know we're already probably running a little bit over. So what I will do, I'll just kind of start talking about some of these skills. And if you have any questions about them, stop me. Many of them are going to be pretty clear already to you. But if there are ones that don't really make too much sense, or you're not sure what I'm saying, we can always talk about it either now or after the meeting. So the first one I listed is adaptability, the ability to adjust your approach to things to changing environments. That is something that's going to happen to you frequently in the professional world. Things will change. Either the requirements of a project you're working on will change, or maybe the size of your team will grow, or in some cases shrink, and you will have to take on things that you weren't anticipating taking on. So being adaptable, being able to remain positive when change occurs is something that will definitely help you. Another piece, the next one on my list, is analytical thinking. How well are you able to look at a problem and think about possible solutions? And really kind of, I know this is a cliche and I hate to use that, but when you think about, thinking outside the box. So when you are presented with a problem, do you automatically go to a solution that has been used forever, or do you, think about new ways of approaching a problem? Building and maintaining relationships. So unless you are a one-person company, you are going to have people that you work with, and you're not going to like everyone that you work with. So I will tell you that, no matter what, no matter how much you love your company and how much you love your job and your role in that company, there will be people that you are working with who are not your favorite people in the world. So being able to build and maintain working relationships with those people is definitely important. It's easy to have a good relationship with people that you like and that you are friends with. But if there are people that you do not always see eye to eye with, it's important to be able to work effectively with them as well. So that kind of ties into the next one, which is communicating effectively. So making sure that you are being clear in what you're asking of people, or that if you are giving feedback to someone, that you're doing so in a way that does not belittle them or offend them. Um, Sometimes that's tough. I mean, sometimes if you have to give, difficult feedback to someone, there's no real way to do it without making them upset. But being able to communicate clearly and effectively is definitely important, no matter what your role in a company is. Um, Courage and confidence in speaking up. This is something that I know can be difficult, especially when you're just starting out. Maybe you feel like you're the new person, you don't have experience, so it's not your place to say something. But I will tell you that good managers and good employees who are more tenured and have been there for a long time should always welcome feedback, no matter who it's from. So if you see that something is wrong, you should always, try and feel comfortable saying so. If you have an idea that other people haven't thought of, feeling confident in presenting that idea and sharing that idea with people. Just because you are new in a role or new to the professional workforce does not mean that your ideas are not valid or important. So this is definitely a skill that if you don't feel that you're very developed in, there are ways to work on that and get to where you feel more comfortable speaking up. Creating and delivering presentations. So kind of what I'm doing now, although this is by all means not a great presentation because I'm thinking that many of you can't even see it. So I did not do very well in that regard. But being able to create a presentation, no matter what it is that you're sharing, that is effective and understandable to people, even perhaps if they're not experts in the topic that you are covering. That's definitely important and something that if you have the opportunity to work on before you enter the workforce will definitely serve you well. Delivering on commitments is the next one on my list. And essentially this means when you say you're going to do something, do you do it? And one thing that I think can also be a challenge for people when they enter the workforce is overcommitting. If you want to impress people, if you want to make sure that people know that you're a good employee and that you're giving every bit of effort that you have, there is a danger of overcommitting and saying that you're going to do something that you're not able to do. Maybe it's the time frame. Maybe you say you can have something in a week, but no matter what, it's going to take you 2 weeks. So it's important to be accurate with your commitments, commit, and then deliver on what you say you're going to deliver. So again, something to remember when you enter the workforce. Oops, sorry. So this is one that the next one on my list is one that you may not need to worry about right off the bat as you enter the workforce. But it's entirely possible that as you move along in the workforce, you will have other people that you are responsible for, and you are responsible for their performance as your own performance. So as I started out saying in the beginning, a good manager does more than just get top performance out of their employees. A good manager prepares their employees to take on more responsibilities and to grow with the company, or even if it's outside the company. I always would tell people that I managed that I feel like my primary responsibility is preparing them for what comes next in their career. Hopefully that would be with the company that they're already with, that we're working for. But I said, even if helping you grow and develop professionally leads you to a role with another company, I'm still good with that. I'm still okay with that because I want you to grow and develop as an employee, as a person. So being able to develop others at the same time that you are making sure that they are delivering what they need to from their responsibilities is really, I think, the hallmark of a good manager. So again, you may not need to worry about that, as you first enter the workforce, but it is a skill that you can try and develop so that when and if you want to be a people manager, that's something you already have, put some effort into. Displaying drive and purpose. So this has a lot to do with how other people perceive your approach to work. Do people see you as someone who is enthusiastic and positive about what you're doing, or do people see you as someone who is kind of negative and complains if there's a lot of work to do, or just kind of brings everybody's mood down? I'm not saying that you always have to be positive. That would not be realistic. We're all going to have times at work where we feel frustrated, or we feel like we have too much work to do, or too little time to do that work. But when you display a positive drive to get things done, and other people can see that in you, then that, I think, will really help you be successful. The next thing on my list is driving continual improvement. So one thing that I have certainly been guilty of in the past, and I think most people are, is a feeling of complacency, a feeling of I'm I'm giving what's been asked of me, so I don't really have to do anything else. I can just continue doing what I'm doing because it's good enough, and nobody's angry at me. Um, if you can maintain the perspective of it's never good enough, then that will really lead you to, finding new ways of doing things and finding, new ways of being more efficient or more effective. So if somebody says, I need you to be delivering this at 90% effectiveness, and if you're at 90% effectiveness, that doesn't mean that there's no room to improve. There's still 10% room to improve there. So trying to maintain that mindset of no matter what, I'm always going to be looking for better ways of doing this, or more effective, more efficient ways of doing this, I think helps to keep a positive, positive view on things. Enhancing business perspective kind of just means how well you understand the business and what you are doing, what your role in the business is, what impact your role has on the business. So, for example, if you have or said that you will deliver a project in 2 weeks time, understanding what happens to the greater business if you don't deliver in 2 weeks time is helpful. Understanding what good impact comes from you delivering a project in 2 weeks time, a high quality project in 2 weeks time, and understanding how that benefits the whole of the company or all of the business is really important. And I think part of that is just in terms of you understanding your importance, and that, whether it's a company of 5 people or a company of 5,000 people, that your role is important and has an impact on everybody else, or at least a large number of other people in the company. I have another one, which is exhibiting leadership stature. So again, even if you are not in a position of managing people, you can still act like a leader. If you have a team of people that you're working with, and nobody really steps up to kind of take the lead, then that is a great opportunity for you to do that. So even if these are people that you don't directly manage, you can still be a leader amongst your team. And really what that means to me is just trying to exemplify all of these other things that we're talking about in terms of being a strong and productive employee. Exhibiting a positive outlook, that's pretty self-explanatory. That just means, even when things are tough, and when things are, feeling like you might be overworked or don't have enough time to do something, Trying to remain positive will definitely benefit you and the people that you are working with. So again, something to think about. When things get tough, do you tend to complain and try and find, someone to blame for the problem, or do you really think of ways that you can contribute more and perhaps drive the whole team to success? Improving processes is the next one on my list, and that kind of goes hand in hand with continual improvement. Many times you will be handed something and say, this is how we do it. And I'm not saying that you should immediately start doing things differently. But even if you are not the person directly responsible for creating, improving processes, your feedback can always help. If you are doing things a certain way and you know that there is a better or more efficient way of doing things, then that's something that will benefit the entire company, and oftentimes can save money, and it's just something to be aware of, that there's almost always at least some way to make a process more efficient or more effective. It's just a question of making decisions, or decisiveness is something that I think is important to be able to do. And one of the things that a great manager told me when I was kind of coming up through the ranks is being able to make a decision. And I don't mean making it rashly. You definitely want to have all of the information available, or at least as much information as you possibly can. But being able to take information presented to you and just simply make a decision is important. Even if that decision ends up being the incorrect decision, it's okay. It's still better to have made the decision and learned from it than to sit around and kind of waffle, I don't know if that's a term that you use there, but that means just go back and forth and back and forth, and between these two options or more options, and if you're unable to kind of just pick something and go with it, then that's an area that you may want to focus on. It's okay to make mistakes. Mistakes happen, and if you are a heart surgeon and you are working in a life or death environment, okay, probably not the best environment to just be, making decisions if you're not sure what's going to happen because somebody's life is on the line. But in almost all other roles, making mistakes is actually what helps us learn and improve and get better overall. So being able to make a decision, even if it ends up being the wrong one, is important. Managing change is the next thing. Business environments are always changing. I've gone through times when my companies have grown tremendously, so there were a lot of new people coming in. I've also unfortunately gone through times when the companies I was working for, and people lost their jobs. So layoffs or reductions in the workforce. And if you are one of the people that is involved in that and you are still there, other people can be, very discouraged or scared about, their future. And being able to manage that and navigate that kind of changing environment is definitely important. And it's not easy, though. I mean, I don't want to make anyone think that changes like that are easy, but it is important to just understand that when you go into work one day, there's absolutely nothing that says that it's going to be the same the next day you go in. Something likely will have changed. Managing diversity and difference is important. That's whether you're a people manager or whether you are what I call an individual contributor, meaning you do not currently oversee any other people. There will be people that you work with who are from different backgrounds than you, a different religion than you, perhaps a different nationality than you, and being able to work alongside people effectively who have differences from you is important. Effective teams are going to have people from different backgrounds and experiences, and that's what makes teams strong, because they're different points of view and different. So just being able to effectively work alongside people who are different from you in some way is something to make sure that you are effective at. Managing effective teams and work groups is the next one on my list. Again, even if you're not a people manager, just being able to work effectively in teams is really important. Making sure, if somebody else is talking, that you're not interrupting. Making sure that, when somebody else presents an idea, that you, even if you disagree with it, you provide feedback in a way that's constructive. Those are all things that can help you be an effective member of a team or work group. Managing politics and influencing others. This one's kind of tricky because I don't know how much this plays a role, in office environments there. But here in the U.S., you can find certainly that sometimes an office will have different groups that kind of stick together. And, maybe they have little feuds or little, battles that they're waging with other people in the office. And that's never good. So, just keeping that in mind, that you're all on the same team, and, how you act can certainly influence others, is important. The next one I have is managing up. So this one is not always immediately clear to everyone, but this kind of means, how well do you know what your manager expects of you? The more you can present things to your manager before they really need it from you, the more you kind of know what they want from you and how they want you to present it. That makes their job easier. And in turn, will likely make your relationship with your manager more effective. No matter where you are in a company, unless you are the CEO and head of the board, you're going to have a manager. So just making sure that you understand your manager. It's not just their job to understand you, but it's also your job to understand your manager and what their expectations are. Will definitely help you. And that ties into the next one, which is managing yourself. If you don't have someone looking over your shoulder, telling you what you need to do, how well are you, or how proficient are you at getting things done? Can you set time deadlines for yourself and uphold them, or do you need someone there to remind you, hey, this is due tomorrow, make sure you have it? The better you are at managing yourself, the more effective I think you will be, in your career. Navigating difficult conversations is the next one. Easy conversations are fun, and nobody has a problem with those. But difficult conversations are not easy for everyone. So this can mean, disagreements. If you disagree with the way somebody is doing something, that conversation is not always an easy one to have. Certainly, if you are a people manager and someone under you is not performing, that conversation with them about their performance and how they need to improve is not always an easy conversation to have. Again, if you try to keep emotions out and just focus on the business and the impact to the business, then that will, I've found, often help with these difficult conversations. I have had to have a lot of these conversations about a lot of different things. And if you ever just want to know, hey, what's the best way to approach this type of conversation, please ask me. Please don't hesitate to ask me. Chances are probably good that I've had that conversation with someone and can share with you, what I learned. Negotiating and resolving conflict, again, similar to other things on the list, but experience conflict in the workplace. And I don't mean physical conflict, that's never acceptable, but there will be conflict where, you have a disagreement with somebody else, and maybe, you are feeling angry with them or they're feeling angry with you, and how you can negotiate and resolve those conflicts in a positive way is important. I'm going to try and speed up here a little bit because I know I'm taking a long time. But planning and execution, if you are given a task or a project that you need to complete, how well are you able to kind of break that down into its parts, understand what parts are dependent on other things, which things have to be done first, which things can be done later, and then how well do you execute that plan and drive that through to completion? So that's very similar with the next one, which is project management. So some of you, I know someone in the chat, I think it was Sir Steve, asked about project management roles at Microsoft, and Microsoft definitely employs project managers. And a project manager is similar to the previous one that I talked about, planning and execution, in that project managers take the requirements for a project and drive that through to completion. One of the differences, though, with a project manager, and why I have it separately here, is that project managers largely delegate the authority or delegate the responsibility, I should say, of individual tasks or projects to people who are actually doing them. So that's why I have it separate here. So understanding project management and what goes into managing projects effectively is important. It doesn't mean you have to actually be a project manager to be involved with projects. Most of us in our professional careers will work on projects, even if just as a contributor and not the project manager. But understanding that process will definitely help you. Setting vision and strategy is kind of a larger scale. I think about strategy as being big scale, long term, whereas if I think about something from a tactical standpoint, that means shorter term, maybe less impact on the company as a whole. So setting a vision and strategy, again, even if you're not managing a company or running a company, understanding the company's vision and overall strategy is important. So if you go to work for a company or if you're applying at a company, make sure you know what their vision is, what's their approach to their business and how they want to get things done. Taking risks and innovating. So this ties back to what I talked about in terms of being decisive. Taking risks is important. You're not always going to know the right answer. You want to have as much information as you can and make educated decisions, but you're always going to be in a position where you don't know for sure that what you're going to do is going to lead to the result that you want. But it's important that you do it. Taking risks and innovating is how we get better and how we drive improvement. Time management, this is something that I am particularly bad at. So for me, this is always one that I mark myself pretty low and tell my manager that I'm going to be working on. I tend to procrastinate, leave things to the last minute, and that sometimes comes back to bite me. So how well you can schedule things and meet that schedule is definitely something that you should be aware of in terms of how proficient you are in that. And I believe the last one I have on my list is understanding and navigating the organization. So that means when you go to work for a company, understanding what other people's roles are, understanding who you go to when you have a particular issue, and understanding, what these other people that you work with do and what their contributions are to the company and how those contributions impact you and your role in the company. And that way, I think if you don't know what people are doing, that can lead to kind of not caring about what those people are doing. If you know what they're doing and how it impacts you and your success, I think that will lead you to, be more understanding of them if they need help, and also, more forgiving if they encounter, problems that impact you. So that is my list. I hope I didn't bore everyone going through it. And again, this is something that I love talking to people about. So if you have any questions about these, if you have something that you think would be a great, thing to add to this list, I would love to hear it because I want to add it to my list as well. And again, for those of you that are preparing to enter the workforce, I wish you all the best luck, and I know that you're going to be successful, but if you have any questions and want to reach out to me, please do not hesitate to do so. And that's it for me.
Whoa. Thank you very much, Aaron. That was very, very insightful. But any question from anyone, please? Is there any question?
And if you don't have a question now, that's certainly fine. Like I said, I am on LinkedIn, so please feel free to reach out to me on there. Send me an invitation to connect, and we'll do so, and we can talk more there. As I said, I'll also leave this list, with the organizers of this event, so that they can share it with you as a Word doc if you would like to have it for yourself.
Okay. Okay. Seems someone have a question. Princess, you raise your hand. You can please ask a question.
Hello, good evening, everybody. I hope I'm audible.
Hello. Yes.
Yes, you're audible.
Thank you so much, Aaron, for sharing. Just have a quick question.
Yes.
Supposing
By
you
all
are
means.
in a team, supposing you are in a team and you are assigned to a new task that you have not really done before, and everybody expects highly of the results, but you know little about it and you have to deliver within a very short time. How do you go about that?
Yeah. I mean, that would be scary, and well, maybe scary is not the right word, but I mean, I can definitely understand that being a very challenging and difficult scenario. One thing I always really tried to remember is that it's okay to ask for help. That is not a sign of weakness. In fact, I view people who ask for help as a sign that they really care about doing it right and getting it done on time. Uh, so if you've been asked to deliver something that you are not confident you can do, it is much better to ask for help or ask for more guidance than be quiet and then deliver something that is of low quality, or maybe not even be able to deliver anything at all, and fail in that regard. So right off the bat, if you are asked to do something that feels like it might be a little bit more than you're able to do on your own, much better just to talk to your manager and say, I want to make sure I'm successful and that I deliver what you need, but I feel like I need some assistance or some guidance. Um, it may be that there's somebody else in the company who can kind of lead, or guide you, provide some mentorship, and they would probably be happy to do so. If you ask, but if you don't ask, they don't know that you need the help, so they're probably not going to offer it. Um, that is something probably that should be on my list, is being comfortable asking for help, because it's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign that you care about what you're working on.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Aaron. Any other question? Olumide said, thank you very much. This was an insightful session. And I myself have learned a lot. I think I would also just get a list as similar to yours and use them whenever I'm probably leading someone or whenever I'm under someone. So thank you very much. Yeah.
Yeah, you're very welcome. And I thank you again for having me. I really enjoyed being here and being able to talk with everyone. And again, we don't have to let the conversation end here. You can always reach out to me with any questions you have.
Okay. So once again, if you want to reach out to Aaron, just check on LinkedIn, Aaron Blum, and you will see him. Just see Microsoft, something related to that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. And I'll
so
put
let's.
my
Okay.
LinkedIn in here really quick also.
Okay.
You can go ahead. I'll put my LinkedIn in the chat for anybody who wants to
Okay.
reach out to me.
Okay. Awesome. So I guess Olumide is back online with good internet. Okay, yeah, awesome. So his LinkedIn link is on the chat, so you can easily go there and reach out to him if you need him. So Olumide, are you ready?
Okay, so I guess I'll just round up. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So
Yeah, Olumide, sorry, before you continue, someone asked the question, just in case we forget about it. Michael asked the question earlier that Is it only Python you can use for this, or we can use other languages like C or what's up? Is it only restricted to Python or open to all
Okay,
language?
so I remember in my slide I noted you can use Node.js. With Node.js you can write JavaScript or TypeScript. You can also use Python, and you can use .NET, and that's with that you write C Sharp. Those are the options that are available for now, but there are future plans to support other programming languages. For example, I'm using TypeScript. Okay, so I guess I can continue, right? Just to round up. Yeah, so
Yes.
I showed you the carousel card. So there's the animation card. I'm just going to create all the other cards. So yeah, there's animation, there is audio card, as you can see. So for each of the cards, all you just need to do is to pass in the step context and the data of the card. So this is audio card. I would say audio card example. Yeah, so these are just templates from the starter kit created. So I'm just going to create this is a sign-in card. I want to show most of the examples that are available. So there's some here, there's receipt card and thumbnail. So I don't know receipt card and there's thumbnail. So I'll just be showing all that. So I run these are just examples of various cards you can call, and the way this starter kit works, all you just need to do is to call the function and pass in what you need to pass in. So here I'm passing in the step. This step here denotes the current step of the bot framework state that is running. Then there is the data you want to pass into it. So I have like dummy data already, which I'm importing from my utils folder. So here I'm going to view this TypeScript and then start my server. So this is going to show various cards while I load it. So just first my TypeScript link. So TypeScript has built successfully. I'm going to start the server. So I just like every other Node.js project, the way the bot framework works is to create the server and where you can make requests to the various endpoints to get all the things you need. So here is the server and here is the interface I used to make the request to the server. So I already created this that shows ask for cards. So here you can see my carousel of cards. So if you want to show any view that looks like this, you can pass in data and to show like this. Here is the animation card. So imagine you want to show a card that has like a GIF, whatever. You can do that with this. Here is the audio card. And here you can see it actually puts details of the audio that is playing. Here's the signing card, the receipt card, and thumbnail card. I know there's video card also, yeah. So those are the various cards you can create as dialogues in your bot framework application. So yeah, pretty much all these templates are here for you. So you can see on that card, all the cards are here. So this is just for it to reduce the stress of having to check the documentation and seeing how to implement cards. All you need to do is to think about how you make your bot smart, and don't worry about the building. The building is made easy with this starter template. So yeah, that's pretty much it on my demo. Yeah, this starter kit is hopefully we're trying to make it more seamless, as there are better ways to actually do this. So right now it's going to be open source. So if you want to contribute, where's my slide? So yeah, if you want to contribute, I have the link to the project on GitHub in my slide. Okay, so yeah, I have a link to the project on GitHub in my slide. I also have the resources and starter links for C Sharp, Python, JavaScript. And here you can see both framework samples. And this is the exact starter kit I used, and that's the link. So since the slide will be available to you, you should have that. And here is Louis Q&A Maker. Then here is a link to activate your Azure for Students and the general board framework documentation. I was meant to show one last thing. So yeah, I talked about Louis. So I have a Louis integration into this bot I created. So I'm just quickly going to show you that. So you need your bot to be smart and my battery. I would really like to show this. So quickly, I'll move to. So yeah, I told you this is what actually connects to Louis. So I uncomment that and stop my dialog. So what's going to happen now is, sorry. So this will make a request to Louis. So anything I type, Louis will try to understand what he's saying and give me the intent. So I wanted to show you. I'm just trying to. So I have to log in. So I already have the app on Louis that I created that recognizes things. So I'm going to show you here in Louis, then show you how it works here also. So this is just my bot here, and I have Louis service, and I'm connecting my bot locally here to Louis to get the intent. Let me start the node server. Okay, so here is the Louis app. I click on my apps, I'll see the various apps I have. Oh, sorry, I'm logged in with my personal email. I need to switch to MSP email. Why? Well, there's really no time for that. So when I start this and I type something, so if I type hello, you can see here this response is from Louis, and it says the top intent was greeting, meaning it understands what I'm saying as a greeting. So if I say how are you, it should do the same and recognize that as a greeting. So if I say I don't like my order, so there's a way I defined these conversations on Louis, and when I have anything that insinuates that I want to cancel my order, it will return cancel. So yeah, from what I just typed, I don't like my order, it sees that I actually want to cancel it. So if I have like a cancel dialog here, I'll just spin it up and show you. But this is also a way to connect to Louis also to make your bot smart. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this demo. Thank you guys for having me. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Whoa, thank you very much, Olumide, for this session. At least I believe after this session, one or two people can check out chatbots using Azure and see how easy it is. Olumide just basically just press some buttons and then sync it with codes. And I know that there are a lot of starter codes on Azure documentation also in order to play with this work. So any question for Olumide? Any question at all? So if you want to reach out to Olumide, how can they reach out to you, please, if they have any question?
I'll drop link to my LinkedIn or something.
Okay, no problem. We'll be expecting link to your LinkedIn.
Bosses.
Yeah, that's our boss's rule.
Very
So,
good.
any other question? So thank you all for following Beyond Coding series thus far. We had 5 weeks, and at the end of this recordings, the video will be up on our YouTube channel. So you can check off our YouTube channel to rewatch any of the series and bless yourself again, or like just absorb the whole learnings and energy again, basically. So thank you all, everyone. Please do well to, if you have any question, do well to message Aaron or Lumide on LinkedIn, and watch out for more information from MSP OAU. Thank you very much. Israel, do you
Thank
have
you very.
anything to add?
I just want to appreciate everybody that stood with us for the 5 weeks that we have had. So just thank you very much. And then if you have any question or you need help reaching any of the speakers for any of the sessions that we've had, you can just contact any one of us. We'll just get across to that. And also, I would love to appreciate everybody that spoke, especially Aaron and then Olumide that spoke today. Thank you very much for coming, for honoring us with your wisdom and your knowledge. We hope that the next time that we'll call you, you will respond and then you'll come and dish some more knowledge to us. All right. So thank you very much. I think that's everything that I have from my side. Do I enjoy the rest of the week?
Thank you, everyone. Take care.
Yeah, thank you. Bye, everyone.